Hello, everyone. This is Rob from GRAF, and today we're going to be continuing our series of 5 trends happening in the economic environment in Africa. If you'll remember, trend number 1 was about urbanization of the population. Trend number 2 was about Africa's industrial revolution. And then brings us to the halfway point, trend number 3. And what is trend number 3 about? Trend number 3 is about the infrastructure gap. It's about the massive demand for economic infrastructure in Africa. In the top left photograph here, we see the Grand Renaissance Dam in Ethiopia, which is all about controlling water supply and generation of electric. Water supply, electric supply, road infrastructure, bridge, rail, and airports all need massive investment in Africa just to meet current demand and to meet projected future demand. Take electricity supply. The electricity consumption and use in Africa is around 630 kilowatt hours per head per year. But if you compare that to the BRIC countries, that's Brazil, Russia, India, and China, it's about a quarter of their use of electric. They use over 2,600 kilowatt hours per head per year. You have to remember, over half the continent's population, 600 million people, have no access to mains electricity. And what does this mean on the ground? Well, take Nigeria and the mobile phone company MTN. In order to power all their mobile phone masts and associated equipment, they have a diesel generator at the base of every station. That costs them over $20 million a year to run. And the electricity cost can be up to 6 times that of using power straight off a power grid and central generation. One issue with infrastructure development in China is the reliance on China. Africa is dependent on China. 25% of all infrastructure projects in Africa are funded by institutions connected with the Chinese government. 50% of all contractors developing infrastructure in Africa are of Chinese origin, are Chinese companies. They're projecting that investment in electricity production will need to increase from 33 billion to 55 billion per year, and road infrastructure from 20 billion to 45 billion per year. There's massive opportunity for the private sector in Africa as the country and the countries and continent develop. But the companies are already there. GE has been in Africa for a long time, but over the last 20 years, they've really ramped up their involvement in power generation, developing rail and airports and healthcare. Credit Suisse, the European company, committed a first in Africa. They funded the first ever toll bridge in Africa, over in West Africa in Cote d'Ivoire, and it was an incredible success. The African Development Bank has been instrumental in raising $12 billion for power generation infrastructure in Africa, and they hope to raise another 45 to 50 billion to increase generation capacity by 7,000 megawatts. That is just a brief overview of trend number 3, the infrastructure gap. It's all connected, as I said, to trend 1 and 2, growing populations and industrialization. But there's many other opportunities and problems to solve. Transport in the cities is an absolute nightmare, and that is a big operation, urban infrastructure and urban transport infrastructure. With the massively growing populations, the demand for healthcare facilities and also education facilities is growing exponentially. All problems that need solved and all big opportunities for industry and commerce to get involved in. Anyone wants to comment on trend number 3, the infrastructure gap, just drop a message below or send me a private message. Thanks for now. Next week, we'll be hitting trend number 4, and then the week after, finally, trend number 5. We'll catch you up then. Goodbye.